Hello and welcome. You're watching the News at 6 with me, Shan Russell. The News at 6 is all about the day's biggest developing stories and we'll be filling in on them over the next half hour. But first, the headlines that we're tracking right now. In an unprecedented ruling, the Supreme Court restores the Congress government in Arunachal Pradesh, calls governor's decision to invoke central rule in the state invalid. Curfew continues in some areas of Kashmir for the fifth day. Hurriyat Conference Chairman Saeed Ali Shah Gilani and others detained for trying to organize a protest march. The Union Cabinet decides to skill 1 crore young people in the next 4 years. Disinvestment of 15% shareholding in NBCC also announced. And tensions rise between the United States and China. Beijing says it will not abide by the Hague court verdict, rejecting its claims on the South China Sea. Our top story this evening, the Supreme Court today restored the Congress government in Arunachal Pradesh, calling all decisions taken by the Assembly after the 9th of December last year as invalid. This, in effect, brings ousted Chief Minister Nabam Tuki back in office. The Congress and the opposition welcomed the verdict, but the Congress just having 26 MLAs now in the 60-member Assembly, the Assembly could take a floor test.
The Supreme Court on Wednesday ruled that central rule imposed by the Narendra Modi government in Arunachal Pradesh was illegal. A 5-bench constitution bench also unanimously restored the Congress government in the state. It quashed the governor's orders that advanced the assembly session from January 14th to December 16th last year.
Supreme Court has quashed all the notification of 9th December issued by the governor and also has restored status quo ante as on 15th December. That is when Nabam Tuki was the Chief Minister.
The top Congress leadership welcomed the order, thanking the court for supporting the cause of democracy. Reinstated Arunachal Pradesh Chief Minister Nabam Tuki called the judgment historic.
The Supreme Court's verdict today is a historic verdict, and this will pave way for whole of the states in the country to protect the healthy democracy in the country. And this is a historic and remarkable judgment which were expected by the people of this country.
The BJP said it will decide the future course of action only after going through the judgment.
The judgment has just come out. Let it be studied. A structured response after that will be possible, because there are various aspects that need to be seen with regard to the disqualification of the MLAs, with regard to the government formation that took place subsequently.
The judgment was also severely critical of the Arunachal governor Jyoti Prasad Rajkhova. It said that it wasn't within the realm of the governor to embroil himself in a political thicket.
This particular decision of the Supreme Court is historic in every sense of the word, because never before in the history of this country has the Supreme Court restored the status quo ante, having struck down the actions of constitutional authorities by using unconstitutional means to bring down governments.
मोदी जी को ना तो संविधान में यकीन है ना जनतंत्र में यकीन है। वो जिस तरह से तानाशाही से इस देश को चलाना चाहते हैं, विपक्षी सरकारों को तोड़ रहे हैं, विपक्षी सरकारों को गिरा रहे हैं, संविधान के विरुद्ध काम कर रहे हैं, विपक्षी सरकारों को चलने नहीं दे रहे हैं।
Ever since Mr. Modi came to power as Prime Minister and BJP formed the government at center, there are several incidents of violating the very constitution of our country.
Responding to the verdict, current Chief Minister Kalikho said he will file a review petition. But striking a defiant note, he said the government is formed on the basis of numbers. Pul became Chief Minister after getting the backing of 40 MLAs, 27 of whom are from the Congress, 11 from the BJP and 2 independents.
We are waiting for the Supreme Court order. So once we receive the order, we will consult with the constitutional experts and the legal experts and we'll plan accordingly. Okay?
The Congress government was dismissed in an assembly session called in December by the governor a month in advance after 21 of the 47 Congress lawmakers rebelled against the chief minister. Amid Congress protests, the centre imposed president's rule in the state. In the special session attended by 20 rebel Congress MLAs, 11 BJP MLAs and 2 independents at a community hall, the impeachment motion was passed and Kaliko Pul became the new chief minister. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
Normal life was affected for the 5th day in a row in Kashmir due to a strike called by separatist groups in the valley. Meanwhile, the death toll in the clashes between the protesters and security forces has climbed to 34 in the state.
The police today detained Hardline Hurriyat Conference Chairman Sayyid Ali Shah Gilani and other leaders in the Haidarpora area of Kashmir. Gilani, who's under house arrest, was trying to plan a protest march in the downtown area of the city. Meanwhile, curfew was in force in some parts of Kashmir, including Pampore and Kupwara towns. Mobile internet and train services are still suspended in the state, while mobile links have been snapped in Kupwara. At various places in the valley, protesters clashed with the police and pelted stones on security forces.
कुछ ऐसे उनसर हैं जो यहाँ अमन बिगाड़ना चाहते हैं, जो यहाँ के हालात खराब करना चाहते हैं, उनकी उन बातों में न आके बल्कि इन शहीदों का सबसे बड़ा खराज अकीदत ये है कि जो इन्होंने हमको दिया उसको हम संभाल सके.
Opposition parties also blamed the Mehbooba Mufti government for failing to assess the situation.
या तो मौजूदा हुकूमत ने लापरवाही की, उन्होंने बुरहान के मरने के बाद असेस नहीं किया पूरी तरह से कि क्या हालात बनेंगे, या असेस करने के बाद हालात के लिए वो उन्होंने तैयारी नहीं की, क्योंकि दोनों में से कुछ ना कुछ तो सही है.
It was the 5th day of protests in the valley that broke out after the killing of Hizbul Mujahideen commander Burhan Wani on July 8th. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
The NDA government today approved a proposal to impart skill training to 1 crore persons under the Pradhan Mantri Kushal Vikas Yojana. The measure will cost an estimated 12,000 crore rupees in the next 4 years. The Modi cabinet also approved a decision to undertake 15% disinvestment in NBCC.
The cabinet today has taken a very historic decision whereby 1 crore young people are going to be skilled in the coming 4 years at an estimated cost of 12,000 crores. इसमें 60 लाख नौजवानों को, नए नौजवानों को ट्रेनिंग दी जाएगी और 40 लाख वो होंगे जिनके पास कोई नॉन फॉर्मल अनुभव है, ट्रेनिंग है.
This scheme will be completely aligned to common norms that have been notified earlier. In the cabinet meeting on Wednesday, the Cabinet Committee on Economic Affairs also approved 15% disinvestment in NBCC.
The Cabinet Committee on Economic Affairs today has decided to disinvest 15% of paid-up equity of National Building Construction Corporation out of the governments of India's shareholding of 90%. The government hopes that an estimated receipt of 1,706 crores is likely to come from this.
The cabinet also approved the revival of defunct fertilizer units in Gorakhpur, Sindri and Barauni, an extension of facilities such as opening of bank account, issue of PAN card and driving license to persons from minority communities staying in India on long-term visas. Vishal Dahiya, Rajya Sabha TV, Delhi.
Now, the excessive monsoon downpour has shifted its focus to the hills now after wreaking havoc in central India. Monsoon has begun its northward movement and will lie close to the foothills of the Himalayas after 48 hours. There is a possibility of heavy rains that may disrupt normal life in Uttarakhand and Himachal Pradesh. It may also cause landslide in low-lying areas. Meanwhile, the Met Department has also forecast light to moderate rain or thunder showers at many places across Telangana. The water level of the Godavari is expected to rise further, and authorities have issued warnings of low-lying areas of the Khammam district. Due to increases in water levels, transport services between several villages in the district were cut off since Monday. In Madhya Pradesh, no fresh casualties have been reported in the last 24 hours. In Rajasthan, as many as 10 villages have been cut off due to continuous rain. Several areas of Bewar, Alwar and Bikaner are completely submerged. Chambal River in Dholpur district is flowing around the danger mark and an alert has been sounded in the adjoining areas. While in Maharashtra, 8 persons have died in rain-related incidents in the past 36 hours. The bill amending the Micro, Small and Medium Enterprises Development Act 2006 is likely to be taken up during the upcoming monsoon session of Parliament. The bill seeks to change the definition of MSMEs by raising the capital limits in plant and machinery.
As inflation soars to a new high, the government plans to revise the investment limit for micro, small and medium enterprises through an amendment bill in the monsoon session. The bill suggests doubling the capital ceiling for micro enterprises from 25 lakh rupees at present to 50 lakh rupees. Similarly, for small enterprises, it proposes to hike the limit from 5 crore rupees to 10 crore rupees. The bill also suggests tripling the capital ceiling for medium enterprises from 10 crore rupees to 30 crore rupees.
Due to price rise, this limit will be very useful, and we are trying that it should be passed by the Parliament, and in small and micro and small units should be benefited.
The MSME Amendment Bill was introduced in Lok Sabha in April 2015 but is pending since then. Experts say steep inflation and the dynamic market situation accentuate the need to periodically revise the criterion of investment of MSMEs.
We were very happy when it was announced last year, but it is still stuck. This is unfortunate, and hopefully, we hope that this should happen in the current session, monsoon session. This would help the MSME, the limits which are proposed to be revised. This would help them to grow.
The existing investment limits were prescribed in 2006. Since then, there has been a significant increase in the price index and input costs. The bill also seeks to empower the central government to revise the investment limits through a notification.
MSME sector accounts for more than 80% of the total industrial enterprises in the country, 40% of the total manufacturing output and 45% of the total exports. It also employs more than 6 crore people, and the amendment bill is expected to provide much needed impetus to the MSME sector. Reporting from Delhi with camera person Vivek, I'm Kriti Mishra for Rajya Sabha Television.
Some more national news updates now nationwide. The Enforcement Directorate has arrested FTIL founder Jignesh Shah in connection with its probe into the 5,600 crore National Spot Exchange Limited money laundering scam. He was arrested under the provisions of the Prevention of Money Laundering Act as he was not cooperating in the investigation. Shah will be produced in a special anti-money laundering court on Thursday. The Delhi High Court has asked Chief Minister Arvind Kejriwal to explain the meaning of the word thulla that he allegedly used to describe policemen. The court exempted him from personal appearance before the trial court in a criminal defamation complaint filed against him by a constable. The court also issued a notice to the complainant, Constable Ajay Kumar Taneja, and sought his response on Kejriwal's plea. Congress-led UDF opposition members staged a walkout in the Kerala Assembly in protest against the government's alleged tepid response to the murder of 2 workers belonging to the CPIM and BJP in the Kannur district. The UDF tried to corner both parties over the murder, saying they'd failed to control the activities of their cadres. State Chief Minister Pinarayi Vijayan asked the opposition not to generalize things by pointing out isolated incidents that took place in the state. 3 Maoist rebels were arrested from the Shikaripara police station limits of the Dumka district of Jharkhand on Wednesday. The trio was wanted for a series of attacks on security personnel. Acting on a tip-off, a police team, along with Jharkhand Jaguar and SSB personnel, conducted raid in the village and arrested them. Chota Vimal, one of the 3 arrested, is the area commander of the rebel group. Time for us to take a short break. Lots more on the other side. Do stay tuned.
The Nehru Trophy boat race of Kerala, popularly called Vallam Kali in local parlance. This historic boat race dates back to 1952 when Pandit Nehru visited the state and a pageantry of boats accompanied him from Kottayam to Alappuzha. The race, conducted on the second Saturday of August every year, is a major tourist attraction. It's generally the snake boats which participate in the race, and hence the shape of the winner's trophy is also a replica of a snake boat.
Welcome back. You're watching the news at 6. Now, Vice President Mohammad Habib Ansari will be in Mongolia starting Thursday to attend the 11th Asia-Europe meeting, or ASEM. ASEM is the dialogue forum to bridge Asia and Europe. As the forum celebrates its 20th anniversary, the thrust of this year's meet will be connectivity and economic cooperation between the two continents.
Vice President Mohammad Hamid Ansari will travel to Mongolia for a 4-day visit starting 14th July to attend the 2-day 11th Asia-Europe meeting in the capital Ulaanbaatar. ASEM is an informal process of dialogue and cooperation between Asia and Europe. It includes 51 countries of Asia and Europe and 2 international organizations. A forum that began with 26 members has now expanded to 53. India became a member of the forum in 2007, that is marking its 20th anniversary this year.
This is a unique platform of dialogue between the two continents, Asia and Europe, in a constructive partnership that entails political dialogue, economic collaboration, as well as socio-cultural exchanges.
India had hosted the 11th ASEM Foreign Ministers meeting in 2013, which was inaugurated by the Vice President of India. It marked the beginning of a new orientation for future ASEM, as members agreed on tangible, result-oriented initiatives for Asia-Europe cooperation.
We also look at other aspects of connectivity, including digital connectivity, historical, civilizational, cultural connectivity, people-to-people connectivity. And so I would imagine that Uprashpati ji will focus on all the broad aspects encompassing the theme of connectivity.
The ASEM dialogue this year is looking forward to address political, economic and cultural issues with the objective of further strengthening the relationship between Asia and Europe. Aishwarya Kapoor's report for Rajya Sabha TV.
The political crisis deepened in Nepal, with Prime Minister KP Sharma Oli refusing to step down. This after a coalition ally, the Maoist party, the CPN-MC, withdrew its support to his government. Oli has instead challenged the opposition for a no-confidence motion in Parliament. Madhesi parties, on the other hand, have supported any effort to remove Oli from the post of Prime Minister.
The CPN-MC will soon form a new coalition government with the Nepal Congress. This after the party withdrew support to the CPN-UML-led government. The constitutional process for removing KP Oli as Prime Minister has begun. A no-confidence motion will be pressed soon.
दूसरा चीज़ अगर ऐसा नहीं करते हैं तो संसद में पेश करने का दूसरा उपाय है, उसमें वो जा भी सकते हैं, उसके लिए भी संसद में पेश वो करें, क्या रिजल्ट निश्चय वही होगा.
The CPN-MC and Nepal Congress have come to an agreement about the power sharing for the next 2 years till new elections are announced in the country. According to the understanding, Prachand will be Prime Minister till March 2017, after which Nepal Congress President Sher Bahadur Dioba will take charge till the next parliamentary elections in 2018 April.
There has been a 7-point agreement between Nepalese Congress and Prachanda-led Maoist party in Nepal. And this includes resolving the Madhesi issues and also increasing the pace of reconstruction work after the earthquake. Akhilesh Suman for Rajya Sabha Television with camera person Shiv Kumar in Delhi.
The death toll in the high-speed train collision in southern Italy has risen to 27, with several of the injured still in a serious condition. The crash took place on Tuesday between the towns of Corato and Andria, where 2 passenger trains collided head-on on a single-track line. 3 carriages were torn apart by the impact. Search and rescue operations are still underway to find missing passengers. It's still not clear how many people were on the trains at the time of the collision. Prime Minister Matteo Renzi visited the site on Tuesday evening and promised a swift and full investigation. There is no indication yet as to what caused one of Italy's worst train disasters.
Per piangere, il tempo per essere vicini alle famiglie, per mostrare l'umanità del dolore. Nei prossimi giorni ovviamente seguiremo, continueremo a seguire, chiedendo che sia fatta, come è doveroso che sia, chiarezza su ciò che è avvenuto, che siano individuate le responsabilità.
Tensions continue to rise between the world's two superpowers, the United States and China, over an international tribunal's ruling on the South China Sea dispute. Beijing maintains that it will not abide by the verdict, calling it a farce. The United Nations and India joined other countries in urging calm in the region.
China has reacted furiously to Tuesday's decision of the UN-backed International Court, insisting on its historical rights over the South China Sea, while launching a volley of thinly veiled warnings to the United States and other critical nations.
要澄清的是，这个仲裁庭不是国际法庭，与位于海牙的与联合国系统的国际法院毫无关系，与位于汉堡的 国际海洋法法庭也有一定关系，但不是海洋法法庭的一部分。
Liu said China also had the right to establish an air defense identification zone over the sea, which would give the Chinese military authority over foreign aircraft.
至于中国会不会划设南海航空识别区，首先我们要说清楚的是，中国有这个权利。航空识别区制度不是中国的发明，是 其他一些大国的发明，中国在东海划了，在南海是不是需要划？要根据我们受到威胁。
The Chinese response comes in the wake of countries, including the US and India, emphasizing that China should comply with the verdict.
India supports freedom of navigation and overflight and unimpeded commerce based on the principles of international law, as reflected notably in the UNCLOS. India believes that states should resolve disputes through peaceful means without threat or use of force.
About our concerns about militarization of features in the South China Sea. President Xi, when he was here, standing next to President Obama, some of that activity continues, and we have been, again, very consistent, very clear with our Chinese counterparts about our ongoing concerns in that regard.
Actions and rhetorics, does that also include the United States?
The Secretary General has consistently called on all parties to resolve their disputes in the South China Sea in a peaceful and amicable manner through dialogue and in conformity with international law, including the UN Charter. It remains important to avoid actions that would provoke or exacerbate those tensions.
Tensions in the South China Sea have already spiked after the verdict. China launched naval drills in the northern areas, while the US Pacific Command said it had deployed an aircraft carrier for flights to support security in the sea. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
Some international news now in Global Buzz. US President Barack Obama urged countrymen to rise above racial divides while calling for understanding among all races. Obama was addressing an emotional memorial ceremony for the 5 police officers who were shot dead in Dallas in a racially motivated attack last week. Obama said it was time for the country to start having uncomfortable conversations about race, as he admitted that bias remained a persistent national problem. South Sudan's vice president withdrew troops from the capital city of Juba as ceasefire entered its third day. Vice President Riek Machar's spokesperson said he was not planning for war. Both sides fought street battles during a 5-day period in which hundreds were killed. A ceasefire was reached on Monday. Victims of the 2015 Paris attack plan to sue the French government for failure to prevent the attack. A lawyer representing the victims accused the government of surveillance lapses, saying several of the jihadi terrorists were being watched by the police at the time of the attack. 130 people were killed and hundreds wounded in one of the worst attacks on French soil on the 13th of November 2015. A European Union's top court has ruled that asking a Muslim employee to remove the headscarf during office work amounts to direct discrimination. The court's written opinion came after a female employee of a French IT consultancy was fired after her refusal to remove the headscarf during meeting clients. France bars civil servants from wearing clothes indicating religious belief. Time now for all the action from the world of sports and SportsBeat. The Indian men's junior hockey team defeated Russian club Dynamo Strotel in Yekaterinburg, Russia to win the Eurasia Hockey Cup. Goals from Gurjan Singh, Varun Kumar and Parvinder Singh helped India win the tournament. The Indian team had earlier defeated the Russian club 3-1 on Saturday in the tournament opener. Spain's Alberto Contador has ruled himself out of the Rio Olympics after injury forced him to withdraw from the Tour de France. Contador pulled out of the tour during Sunday's 9th stage and said his recovery will take 4 weeks. The Olympic race begins on the 6th of August. 13 official posters for the Rio Games are unveiled at a scenic exhibition at the new Museum of Tomorrow in Brazil on Wednesday. The posters aim at representing the diversity of Latin America's largest nation. The collection was created by 12 Brazilian artists and a Colombian. The Brazilian government has released additional funding to beef up security ahead of next month's Olympic Games. Sports Minister Leonardo Picciani said that armed forces would get an extra $24 million to help them meet security needs. The military would be patrolling sports venues from the 24th of July. More than 80,000 police and soldiers will patrol the streets of Rio for the duration of the Games. Filipino boxing star Manny Pacquiao is planning to fight again in late October or early November as the main event bout in Las Vegas. His promoter Bob Arum said that the former welterweight king will headline Las Vegas on either the 29th of October or the 5th of November as long as it does not clash with the Senate duties in the Philippines. Pacquiao announced his retirement after claiming victory against Timothy Bradley in April. That's all from us. Goodbye.